So I've done some. I have a whole lot of. You'll see in a minute. I have a whole lot of started missions and started quests, and not finished. Although I'm pretty proud to say I finished the Messier challenge this week, finally after a couple years. Um, but I started doing some things. So when I was looking at what I wanted to do and how I wanted to plan my year out, it was really important for me to see like, okay, if I do assign something, how long should that take the kids to do? How many images are we asking them to do that? Am I going to ask them during the right time of the year? I also didn't want to miss out on some quests. So even though our astronomy unit starts in January, there's some really great quests that, those objects won't be available come January, and we don't want to miss out on those things. So I started like a Slooh quest guide that I kind of use on my own. And if you want to use it, feel free. It's not complete. You can take it, make it your own, complete it on your own if you'd like. Just make a copy. And what I did was I broke things down by observations, learning, measurement, what all the different things that we could do, and then kind of tried to figure out where I was going to put them in my curriculum. The observation collection is kind of where we start because it doesn't require the kids to get a whole lot of specific things. It's there are a lot of them are general overviews. This is also where you'll see that there are some that are like winter into summer or summer into winter, where if you don't get those things done, like if we don't do summer into winter, we won't be able to do that one when we get to our astronomy unit. So we want to do that now. And then we move to observation discovery. And these quests kind of go, there's a little more investigation that goes on in these. And so these are really great when you actually get into the meat of your astronomy units. These are also really great to use in conjunction with star parties. A lot of my kids take home homework to go home and look up and make observations either with their own telescopes or binoculars or just with their eyeballs, just to see where things are in the sky and identify them. And so these observation discovery ones quests are a little bit more specific. The posters are phenomenal. So your kids, if you have access to color printers, but you can see here on the lunar features one, the kids, you zoom in, you get actual pictures, you make these observations, you share what you're learning, and that's where so much of the magic happens. Kids have to write in the quests now, and I think that's a huge bonus when we can read those reports and see what they're writing and how well they're writing. Sometimes it'll cut them off and they'll be like, well, I had it written, it was going to be really long, but I had to go back and change it because it was too long. And that's a great thing. It's a great thing when kids are saying that something didn't allow them to write enough. The observation discovery. So one of the reasons that I did this was I started looking and I thought, well, there's a lunar phases and then there's like a changes of the moon, and I'm essentially using a lot of the same images for both of these. And then for when you get to like the cosmic, it's not really cosmic recycling, but the life cycle of a star, there goes the sun, stars like ours, out with a bang. And so a lot of these are life cycle of the sun, and they also seem really similar. And so one of the things that the reason that I went back and did this chart was because the overview, or what you were really looking for, even if the object was the same, the objective of the quest wasn't the same. So it was a different angle or a different take. And so I thought it was really important to be able to figure out, if you only have time to do one of those, this would help you figure out that you might want to do, and I put my glasses on now, sorry. But here's where you might want to do the life of death of stars, where you're going to look at the life of death of stars in every stage of both, mainstream and massive stars. And so, when you're going to look at both of those, you get a little bit more bang for your buck versus doing maybe the life cycle of, a massive star and another one that's the life cycle, of a medium or small star. So, you want to, this hopefully will help you guys when you're choosing which ones you want to do or how you want to do it without having to go in and actually do the quest. It should help you a little bit with, what your time frame and your curriculum looks like, and maybe your scope and sequence for what you can fill in the gaps with. There's also the learning starter. This is one where I kind of tend to not assign too many of these. You kind of have to be picky. So like, I wouldn't mind someone looking at a solar system explorer if that's kind of a review for my 8th graders, but I wouldn't want them to do types of nebula until we're into that unit. So this is another way for me to say, okay, I want to make sure that I might stick Cosmic Explorer on the list of ones for them to explore and do and turn in, but not Nifty Nebula. And maybe not in how far, because we want to get into that in a specific unit. There's also the learning that's the measurements. And so this is a really great one for when you get into that, you can kind of hit all of these at once. Most of these are all year, but then there's a few that aren't. And so we want to get to those when we need to get to those. So like charting the cosmos is kind of great because when it ends in December, the other one starts in January. And actually a few of those, if you'll look at the specific objects, a few of those do overlap, but not everything. And so it's a unique opportunity to get those kinds of things. I will say, if you get a chance to do one with your class, do Burnham's Labyrinth. There's a really easy answer that stumps everyone. I don't know. We had so much fun with this. So then we had to buy all the Burnham books and catalogs, and so the kids, we have all the stack of books and we go through them, and that was a really fun one. So it was also kind of a tricky one, and it got a lot of kids that maybe weren't that interested in astronomy. The fact that it was this quest that they couldn't solve, it was just this challenge for them. And once they got in and then started getting their pictures and doing things, this was the one that really got a lot of kids hooked.